Hello, folks, and welcome to another episode of Explode Your Expert Business Show. We are episode number 104. I'm really excited to be here. Now we're going to start recording the show in a minute. So welcome if you haven't joined, if you're joining live. Welcome if you are watching the recording. Let's start the music in 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to another episode of Explode Your Expert Biz Show. This is episode 104. 104. Oh my God, how amazing is that? Today we are going to talk about how I use meditation and how I use mindfulness to grow my sales and to explode my sales. Now, this episode has been inspired by the latest episode, which was episode 103. And episode 103 was with my good friend, Chris Salem. And Chris is a meditation expert. So if you haven't listened or watched episode 103, make sure that you check it out on www.gtex.org.uk. So check it out because you will find all our podcast episodes as well and the episode that inspired this conversation. Now, many of you might know this, but that's how people used to call me. People used to call me a hippie in a suit. What do I mean about that? Well, I've always been a bit hippie at heart. When I started my coaching business, when I started my expert business, I was helping people finding their purpose. And I was involved in all things about spirituality, about manifestation, meditation. I was an absolute sucker for all these things, and I still am. Now, I became a bit more business-minded than woo-woo. Before I was just woo-woo and no business mind. Now I'm much more balanced. Let's put it this way. And so I wanted to share with you some of the things that I do day after day to help me out. And also I want to share with you what happens when I don't do them. Because meditation, I gotta be honest, is one of the things that I know how crucial it is. Like, I know how important this is to meditate. I know how crucial is to take time regularly for myself and clear my mind. I know how crucial that is for not just business, but any area of my life. However, I've not something that I've been doing consistently. And I've had all different practices, and I've been doing consistently maximum for a few months and then constantly dropping out. But this is what happened. Even if I'm not super consistent, which is something I will recommend you, like the idea is to be super consistent with it. And that's something that I'm striving and I'm still working towards to it because I know how crucial that is. However, even if you do something, it's better than nothing. This is the most important thing to understand. Even if you do something, it's always better than nothing. But the change happens when you do it consistently. So when I meditate, when I take some time to meditate consistently, that's something magical happen. I finally am less stressed. And I know this sounds like a cliche, but running a business makes you stressed. I don't know anyone who is very successful, super great, successful business owner who is not stressed. Not know anyone like that. We all have our moments of stress. So having that time when you start your day to create clarity in your mind, to create that space for you, to create a space for your emotion to be acknowledged, to create a space for your thoughts to be acknowledged, to create the space to acknowledge yourself, that has a massive impact in my life. And I did all sort of crazy stuff when I meditate. I did even 10 days of a retreat called Vipassana, when you meditate for 10 days with no eye contact, no physical touch, no talking, no communication, and all you're doing is meditating for 12 hours a day, and then you sleep for the rest. That's what you're doing in that retreat. And it was one of the most powerful experiences of my life. In particular, because when I finished that experience, I was able to think with such a clear mind that I never ever experienced that before after that. I was I felt in complete control of my life. I felt in complete control of myself. There was nothing, literally nothing that would happen in the outside was affecting me in the inside. And this, I think, is where the real power of meditation is. That's where the real power of meditation is. It's not about controlling the outside world, but it's about controlling your inner world and being such in control of your inner world that no matter what happens in the outer world, it doesn't impact you. It doesn't make a difference. And that's okay. Hey Johnny, hey CJ, hey Daniel, thank you very much. Hey Violetta, thank you very much for joining here live. So this is why I want to invite you to meditate. Now the question, there are different few questions, is how long should I meditate? What is really meditation? What kind of meditation shall I use? And how can I use meditation to increase my sales? Because everything I do is in function of being better in life so I can be a better husband and a better businessman. This is what I do. So how can I meditate? Well, first of all, meditation is everywhere. Do you need to sit cross-legged to meditate? No, you don't. Meditation is the art of being in the moment. Meditation is the art of beingness. Now, I got, for example, a great client called Suzanne. She's an awesome painter. She's an absolutely awesome painter, and her form of meditation and expression is through painting and through art. I have another client called John. His form of meditation is through music. Amazing blues guitarist. Awesome. And that's his form of meditation. One of my biggest form of meditation is basketball. Now, I can be by myself in a basketball court and shoot 100 shots and just being there for these 100 shots. And I'm just being there, present in the moment. Me, the ball, and the basket. That's it. Nothing else is around. Now, so meditation is everywhere. You can meditate everywhere. However, I found that when you take consciously time off, when you take consciously time, and do you meditate, Johnny? Do you meditate? I would love to know if you guys meditate. If you're listening to this, I would love to know, do you guys meditate? And one of the biggest thing I can do is then there is extra power in just setting time every morning for meditation. Every time can be 15, 20 minutes. I found that less than 15, 20 minutes, as also Chris was sharing in his interview, is not as effective as a regular 15, 20 minutes daily practice. Because sometimes, my mind goes like crazy. Sometimes it takes me 14 minutes just to clear my mind, to have that minute where I can be, so that's the truth. That's the reality for me. Some people will have different levels. It changes from where you are in life. I remember the more frequently I do it, then the easier it becomes and the faster it becomes as well. And going into this deep meditative state without spending 14 minutes fighting and wrestling with my mind. So 15, 20 minutes. And why in the morning? Well, the reason why it's important to do it in the morning, as also Chris was saying, is that you are in control. When the day takes over, it's very difficult to say no to external things that are popping up. While in the morning, you are in control by setting the time and doing it first thing, then nothing else can take over that time. Well, of course, if you have a family, if you have kids, that's different. But if you even wake up before the kids wake up, then you can create a time for yourself. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Vicky, for joining. What kind of form of meditation do you use? If you meditate, guys, here in the Facebook Live, what kind of form of meditation do you use? I'm really curious about that. I remember one of the things that I love the most for me in terms of meditation is sound meditation. I love to meditate with sounds, having them in the background, or a gong bath, or crystal bowls. These are the forms because I'm very sound sensitive. I'm really sound sensitive. I always go to sleep with solfeggio frequencies and binaural beats. That's how I go to sleep every night. And because I'm so sound sensitive, even the smaller sound in the background can distract me for everything I do. I become mad. That's how sensitive I am to sounds. So because I'm so sound sensitive, for me, doing a meditation which includes sounds is more effective. So I remember I love doing meditation when there is the humming sounds or there is another sounds in the background. It helps my mind to be calm much faster. But again, there are multiple ways. Another great way is to, for example, to do active practice of yoga or other active disciplines where you are in the moment with that movement. And that's again something that brings you back to reality, something that brings you back to this present moment. And now this is relating to sales, because we are talking about selling here, right? We're talking about how can we use this stuff to make more money, because that's something I'm really passionate about. Passionate about making money, passionate about delivering incredible value. I'm passionate about becoming the best person I can become through different practices, and meditation allows me to do that. Now, the more cluttered your mind is, the less effective you are as a salesperson. Why? Because you will be reactive instead of being proactive. You will take things more personal. There will be a rejection or something that happens will feel 10 times more and 10 times stronger than something that you will do when you are in a clear state of mind or when you have less stress around you. You know, great example. A client cancels. I remember we had one of the clients that something personal happened to his life. And he wanted to ask for a refund for our services because he needed that money for something else. But that money was paid such a long time before, and we couldn't give him the refund. We offered him extra support, but that didn't happen. And he just wanted the refund. We started receiving letters from lawyers and so on. But by contract, we were in the right. And that was something personal that happened to him. And I found that when that happened, I was very affected personally. I was very affected, and it threw me off for a couple of days. Because first of all, I always want to make my client happy. My clients are the reason why I run him in the business. So I always want to make sure that they are happy and they receive the highest level of service. That's one. And the other thing is that I had other things going on top of that in my life. So my emotional state was a wreck. So I remember I was having different sales conversations, and I remember I was even cutting them short because I didn't want to go through the objection handling and to negotiating with different prices, which is what I would do for someone to sign up. The negotiation starts and we find a way to work together, and up until they say 6 times no, I'm not gonna give up. That's just something I've been trained in sales, and that's what I do. But in that moment, when someone was saying no, I was taking it personal and then moving on. Taking it personal, moving on. I was not updating my sales pipeline, which is what allows me to be in control of my sales. I was all over the place. And then I started meditating again. 15 minutes a day, that's it. And that's something now I'm in the moment. Since I've been doing that, now I'm in my regular phase. And I'm working on making it consistent because I really want this to be a daily habit for me, not just a monthly habit. I want this to be an habit that is with me for the rest of my life because I found these incredible benefits. Another thing that helps you when meditating in terms of your sales is your confidence, because the clearer you are the clearer your mind is, the less emotional stuff you need to process, which means the more confident you can be, the more assertive you can be, the more relaxed you can be during that sales conversation. Because let's be honest, sales conversation, in particular at the beginning, but even at any stage, depending how big or small they are, they can be stressful conversations that you have. So having that clear state of mind, having that moment of clarity, having that moment where you are completely detached to the outcome, having that clarity when you can feel your feelings going through you rather than trapping them and reacting to them. This is things that is invaluable on a sales conversation. All the moments where you want to charge a higher price and you have all these thoughts about your self-worth and if you're worth it or not. By training your mind to not listen to your thoughts, then you can actually do what you want. You can be in control of that conversation, and that's what I found incredibly valuable in a sales conversation when I'm selling from the stage, when I'm having the team meeting. And if I miss my daily practice, I'm find myself going in the longer term. I'm becoming more reactive. I'm becoming less productive, and I'm becoming more stressed and more frustrated, and I become even less funny. I'm just there reacting to everything that happens, and I feel like all the world has everything against me. And no matter what I have, no matter how lucky I am, that's what my mind goes, right? No matter how lucky I am, how big the business is, and I'm blessed. Thanks God for everything you have given me. Thanks everyone for the support I've received. I'm blessed. But when I'm not meditating, I cannot see the blessing that I have. I cannot be grateful, or as grateful as I should be, or as grateful as I know I could be, or as grateful as I want to be. Choose the word that you want. But by being in there, by being in that moment, by being present to myself, then all the rest, all the worries, all the troubles, all the tribulations, I'm in control, and I can see them as a part of my journey. Because one thing is knowing the problems and troubles are a part of your journey. But one thing is actually owning it. One thing is actually not reacting by it and keep reminding yourself that this is just a part of your journey, and this is things are going to improve. And I remember the first time I started meditating. It was very weird because I was with few friends, and they got me to this place where they were doing a meditation class. I was like, okay, let's go there. I don't know what it is. We were a bunch of hippies, so why not? I'm always open to new things about spirituality. So I went there, and it was about a 1 hour meditation session. I wanted to leave the room and scream and explode and stand up and do nothing. Like I just didn't want to be there. My mind was doing everything I could not for me to focus, not allow me to focus, but allowing me to be there. And then I remember one moment. It was around the end of the session, and at this moment where I said to myself, "Why do I keep fighting with myself?" And in that moment, I don't know, something happened. I got a breakthrough. And my mind got cleared instantly. That moment I let go of the fight that I was having, or the thought that I was really holding on to, then everything started becoming easier, in particular in my mind. But then because it was easier and clearer in my mind, then started becoming easier and clearer in my life. When I have a question, or I have a big problem that needs to be solved. Because remember, the bigger the business you have, the bigger the problems you're going to face. That's the reality. You have a bigger business, you have bigger problems. It's like you're by yourself, you have your problem, you go into a relationship, you have not only your problems, but also your partner's problems. And that's part of the process. But when you are centered, when you are present, when you don't allow those thoughts to condition the way you act, that's the ultimate freedom, in my opinion. That's what the ultimate freedom is. Being able to not worry and to trust yourself and everything that happens around you, that this is the right, the perfect thing. And the more clearer you are and the more conscious you are about this, and the more conscious I am about this, then the better my life is. And then I stop because I think, well, my life is great, so I stop doing it. And then my life goes back again. And I see some of the older problems that are not happening anymore right now keep happening again on the surface. And I believe just because I'm less in control, that happens because I'm less in control of my conscious reality, but I'm allowing my paradigm and the old things that are there to run my life. So that's why the conversation with the episode that we did with Chris Salem, episode 103, it was a reminder again for me to keep meditating, to keep doing it, to take that time. And I hope this episode is again a consistent reminder for you, whether you're watching live or you're listening to the show on iTunes or you're watching this on YouTube, is a consistent reminder as well for you to take that time. It's only 15 minutes. Like, you're not going to die. The world is not going to stop. You can take that time, those 15 minutes, to have not only a better life yourself, but also be more productive in your business. Therefore, You will make more sales, therefore you will make more money. And that's why I encourage you to meditate. Now, on the other hand, for those people that meditate way too much and get nothing done, then reduce your meditation time and actually start living your life as well. Because I know so many people, when I was an EP, can find people that were completely detached from reality. Completely detached from reality. They were always looking at third eye awakening and going in the third dimension, in the fourth dimensions, and in the sixth dimension and seventh. We're always going looking for other dimensions. I'm like, mate, you're living here in the third dimension. How can you just be happy here? And that's what I think meditation is. I mean, there was a time where I was interested into astral projection, astral traveling. It was a time where I was interested into lucid dreaming, and I practiced a fair bit of them, and it was awesome, and it was perfect. It was greatly awesome. It required a lot of practice to get to that stage, but then I realized, why do I want to escape from a reality which is perfect? Why do I want to escape from a reality which is perfect? And this is sometimes what people do. They use meditation as an excuse to escape from their problem, not as a way to face their problem with confidence and with more tools and with more clarity. And this is what I want you really to consider and to be aware of. Don't use meditation as an excuse or as an escape mechanism, because then it becomes an addiction like alcohol, like drugs, because the only thing you want to do is to avoid facing the problem. But use meditation to help you face your problems more effectively. Not to avoid and run to another reality because you don't like the one you have created for yourself. Because remember, you have created this reality for yourself with your thoughts, your actions, your decisions. And in the long term, they created your current reality. Some people say, oh, I'm not making enough money. I'm not having enough sales. How hard have you built your brand? How many people are you talking to? Oh, I'm not talking to enough people. Well, again, this is your problem. That's the thing that you need to solve. So the results where you're at, where I'm at, is the result of the action and the decisions and the thoughts that I had so far. And of course, there's a bigger plan, I believe, as well. But that's all part of it. That's part of the bigger plan, and also is my responsibility. But I cannot blame the bigger plan for where I am. Actually, I mean, in this case, I just have to be thankful for the bigger plan to where I am. But even when the shit happens, I cannot blame the bigger plan for the shit that happens. Why? Because somehow they are part of my journey. Somehow I've created them. Somehow I need them to grow. And what meditation allows me to do is to be detached from it. Be detached from that outcome. Be detached from my expectations. I remember my first course that I ever created was called Live Your Purpose, Live Your Life. And it was a 12-week course with 12 different modules. And module number 1 was expectations versus expectancy. And while I was thinking about what to share in this live, then this module and this program that I've created in the past came up. That's not something that we teach anymore at our courses. Something that we'll get back teaching it, because now we've been mainly focused on business. But what I was teaching there in that module, in expectation versus expectancy, is from a conversation that I had with a friend when I was in a spiritual community called Findorn. It's a spiritual community and a sustainable village in the north of Scotland, close to Inverness. And I went there to do what they called an experience week, which was an experience into human nature and community living. So we're doing a lot of experiential activities about knowing yourself, knowing other people, effective communication, and spirituality at the same time. And I met one person and ended up becoming one of my best friends, and still is. Her name is Carmen. Now, when we started talking with Carmen, we were having, she told me one thing that was a breakthrough for me. I remember that for the rest of my life. And she said, Many people live with expectations. They have expectation about what should happen to their life, what should happen to their business, what should happen to their partners. We all have those expectations. And those expectations, they stop us from living with expectancy. Expectancy is the art of living, expecting something great to happen without knowing what the great thing is going to happen, but you know, and you're waiting for it and you're expecting for it. The art of expectancy is living like a child will live on Christmas Day. When on Christmas Day, if you remember that, or I definitely remember it, when you wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning, waiting because you know the Santa is coming and it's going to give you presents. And you don't know what presents are going to be. You made a list of the presents that you wanted to have. You had a wish list, but you don't know what you're going to find out. And then you're there, you're excited, and you are opening these gifts. And then on some gifts, they're more exciting than others. Because definitely on one you will find, I remember I found the robot that I wanted. And then on the other gift, they were my grandma socks, right? The socks that my grandma made. And of course, wasn't excited about the socks at all. But what I did, I always went there and thanked grandma, even if I didn't like her socks, or if I didn't like the shirt, because I wanted to have my gun, my pistol, and I wanted to have my robot and my car. That's what I wanted to have. So this is the power of living with expectancy. The art of living with expectancy, which is about expecting that something great is going to happen to your life in a moment, like you don't know. Somehow my buzz could ring and something great can happen. I don't know. But just because I'm expecting this to happen is it makes your life worth living. Because you are there waiting for that great thing to happen. Because you're waiting and you're filtering, your mind is filtering for that great thing to happen, guess what? More great things happen. So when I go into a sales situation, the way I'm using living with expectancy, I'm going to the sales conversations is, wouldn't that be great if this client would just pay me 100,000 or $1 million there straight away? How would I feel if that would happen? And I ask myself consistently this question before I go into a sales conversation. How would it be if this client gets paying me 100,000 or $1 million right now? And I will feel, immediately I will start feeling great about myself. I will start really feeling great and actually looking forward to this sales meeting because that's what I want. And that's what I'm expecting to happen. But then what happens? I let it go. But just because the fact of I'm expecting something magical to happen, and I don't know what magic is going to happen, but I'm expecting something magical to happen. Guess what? Something magic is going to happen. And that's the power of meditation. That's the power of using your mind clearly in the most effective way. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this live. I definitely shared a lot of things that I used to share before. Where we were running Purpose to our seminar, Purpose to Abundance. That's how we started. How our program, Live Your Purpose, Live Your Life. And it's something that I haven't shared for a while. In particular, about expectations and expectancy. But it's something that is such a powerful concept that once you embrace it, it's going to change your life forever. And I got to say, I'm now going to reteach this. Because now that I've thought about this again, it's like, why did I stop teaching it? I love it so much. And it's so useful. So you will hear this more and more concepts from Live Your Purpose, Live Your Life, and the other personal development programs that I've created. But everything is going to be always still related to business. Don't worry about that. That's my main focus because that's what I'm most passionate about. But we can't run an effective business if you're not effective individuals. We cannot run a happy business if you're not happy individuals. We cannot run a mindful business or a sustainable business if you're not mindful or sustainable individuals. So reflect on it. Take action. Do your meditation. And then if you haven't listened to episode 103 of our show, the links is here in the show notes. make sure that you listen, where Chris Salem is sharing some very powerful information, where it's going even deeper in topics around meditation and performances, which I'm sure you absolutely love. Also, thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for those of you that joined live and they are with me still so far. Thank you, Vicky. Thank you, Isis. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone that joined so far and is here live with me. I really appreciate you. I really appreciate the fact that you're working so hard for your business. I know many of you, and I know that you're putting the work in, that you're doing whatever it takes to make your business a success and to make it happen. Now, if you haven't subscribed yet to the show, make sure that you subscribe right now. What the heck are you waiting for? If you're watching like our page, if you're watching this on our Facebook page, but if you're watching this on iTunes, Stitcher, if you're listening on Stitcher, on iTunes, or watching this on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe. It will mean the world to me. And also leave us a review, particularly on iTunes. If you leave us a 5-star review, sharing with you, with us, what you learned, what you know, what you loved about this episode, that would really be really appreciated. As usual, we run our episode that are released on our podcast twice a week. On Tuesday, we receive the guest interview, and then on Tuesday evening, we go live on my page at 7 p.m. UK. And then we release the same episode on our show on Friday. So that will be the recording audio version of the live that we do on Tuesday. But on Tuesday morning, the guest episode is released. On Tuesday evening, my life, where I reflect and I put my spin on the concept that I've learned from the guest that I've interviewed. And then on Friday, the episode is released on the show. Guys, thank you very much for listening. Thank you for watching. I love you and leave you. And always remember that together we grow exponentially. Ciao.